Hi, this is Lindsay, one of the co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Tiana Vanderhei here, host of the Refined Redhead podcast on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast. Once you're done with this episode, you should definitely come check out my show, the Refined Redhead podcast, where we talk to real people about relevant information in hopes of inspiring you to chase after whatever dreams you've set out to accomplish, persevering through whatever obstacles are in your way. A new show comes out bi-weekly every Tuesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of the Refined Redhead podcast. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Last time on the Greg and Dave Show.
How come your voice just got lower all of a sudden? Did you just have a growth spurt by chance and get taller and
I don't think so.
Your voice went lower?
I don't notice more hair than I had before.
Okay.
It's time for the Greg and Dave Show.
We do have a studio audience here at the Greg and Dave Show.
We do.
Put them behind a wall and ask them to be quiet.
Featuring Greg Watsteiner
We were just talking about spam.
and David Bobke.
I want to make sure I'm dating the right now.
Bravely bringing you the stories of the strange.
We all applaud Sweden for sticking with Trainee McTrainface.
I'm thinking of changing my name to Greggy McGregface.
What, you high? Now sit back and enjoy the show.
And we don't need to say any more about how unpleasant that is.
Hello and welcome to another great episode of the Greg and Dave Show. I am the Greg.
And I am Dave Show.
You are Dave Show.
I am Dave
Yes.
Show, by golly.
You would be Dave Show.
I don't know who else to be.
You have to be Dave Show. Yeah, who else would you be?
I don't know. I guess I had to be Mrs. Bale the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Mrs. Bale's back. I don't know. I think she was... didn't she tell you she was taking a long, aerobics class in, Jamaica or something, or New Mexico?
Yeah, or yoga or Pilates or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
But, Mrs. Bale is here, thankfully. She did step out for a minute to deal with something. Again, I wasn't listening. But
Oh, maybe that's where I got the aerobics class from. She stepped out.
yeah, maybe she's taking a phone call. I don't know. But she did step out. She said as soon as you hear the theme, you're good to go. And, so before she gets back in here, I feel kind of bad for the last couple weeks. I think the audio's been a little rough the last couple weeks. I've been trying to do the editing instead of her, and
Right.
on the walls, I guess.
You've been taking walls out. Yeah.
The destruction of the walls has been a bit rough. I don't think that normally happens when a producer leaves a show for 2 weeks.
I don't think it's supposed to.
Not so much.
It isn't in the manual.
Yeah, not really.
Anyway, you are listening to the Greg and Dave Show. We are presented, Dave Show.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's presenting us. We are presented by Public House Media. And you can find all things Public House Media, including all the podcasts for all the different shows and things like this, at what website, Dave Show?
At thephumedia.com. ThepHmedia.com. And we are presented. We are presented. I think that's a good way to put it. We're put in a nice little box with a little bow on it.
Yeah.
Got a little thing on it that says, to you from thephumedia.com.
Yeah, or thepHmedia.com. Now, we're not talking about the pho. Don't get confused. We're not talking about pho, that Chinese or Indian food, or what is pho? No one actually knows what that is, but that's okay, because we're not talking about that. We are talking about thephmedia.com. Remember also to go to the Greg and Dave Show Facebook page and like it up. Dave Show, do you know what I'm going to do right after this show?
What's that, the Greg?
I'm going to invite all of my friends who I haven't invited yet to like the Greg and Dave Show Facebook page.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's a lot of people. You know a lot of people.
I do have a lot of connections on Facebook.
Can we talk about the Facebook game for a second?
Sure, let's talk about the Facebook game.
Okay, so one day we were hanging out with a couple of other friends of ours, and we decided to see, since Greg knows approximately, I want to say, 25 or 26 million people on Facebook.
Yes.
We thought he can't possibly know all these people. So we started going through his friends list, and we'd pick out a name, in turn, we would pick a name and throw it at him, and we'd say, like, Tom Billy Boo. And Greg would immediately say, Tom Billy Boo, I met him in high school when he came into... And it's like, oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
We could not get anything past this guy.
I spend way too much time on Facebook. You know what that might make me, Dave Show?
What's that, the Greg?
A zombie.
Ooh, you and your segues.
We haven't done too many stories about zombies. Or
I would say we have not done enough stories about zombies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are fascinated with zombies, Dave Show.
Not really, but I do like a good zombie story now and again.
Yes.
So we have a report here from the BBC, one of my very favorite sources for anything ever. BBC.com, with a story titled Chinese City Gets Smartphone Zombie Walkway.
Of course, this has to happen in China, right?
I guess. I mean, I guess this kind of makes sense. They're very technologically advanced, as are the Japanese. Is that stereotyping to say that?
I don't know. Ask Mrs. Bale.
Okay, Oh, she's not back yet.
Oh.
Okay, well. You don't think Mrs. Bale just left to see if nobody could do her job better than I could? Well, never mind. On with our story. It says a city in northern China has introduced a special pedestrian lane on one of its roads exclusively for slow-walking smartphone users, it's reported. I like to add "it's reported" at the end, as if this could still be a not real thing.
Yeah, did we verify that this story is true?
We sent one of our reporters out and he didn't come back, so...
Oh, okay.
Who knows? It's entirely possible we shouldn't have paid him in cash and made this his first assignment.
Right.
And not had him contractually obligated to come back. That may have been a bad call. And that may have been my decision to do that. Well, anyway, according to the Shaanxi Online News, the pavement along the Yanta Road in Xi'an, I'm probably mispronouncing that, I apologize, has now got itself a special lane for fubbers, people who stare at their phones and ignore everything else around them.
What do they call again, Dave Show?
Fubbers. Phubbers.
No, okay, not to be confused with the PH Media.
Correct. Similar PHs, but that's about it. The lane is painted red, green, and blue, and is 80 centimeters wide and 100 meters long. Pictures of smartphones along the route distinguish it from an ordinary pedestrian lane. The website says that a large shopping mall, which looks onto the street, had been pushing to have the lane for a month. So they got this done pretty quickly, apparently.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It says that cars often come onto the pavement, which is a busy channel for pedestrians who might not be paying attention to their surroundings. We certainly have plenty of those around here, I can attest.
Right. Now, how would this work for me, Dave Show? Because my lack of ability to see, being blind, people could think that I am walking around as a zombie, even though I'm not obviously staring at my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, how this would work for people like me when I'm interacting with these other quote-unquote zombies on the street.
Well, I guess I feel like this would probably not be the lane you'd want to be in.
Okay.
You'd probably want to go with a normal sidewalk. So that's your best bet here. It says here, a little further into the story, they actually interviewed some locals about this. And there's somebody named Wei who said first time they'd seen such a thing, and he thought it was, quote, pretty good. And later gets quoted as saying, everybody walking along here thinks that it's very safe at the side of the road. There are cars, and the vehicles also come onto here, and sometimes only just avoid you. So this doesn't sound good.
Sounds like me when I'm crossing streets at my alma mater, Carroll University.
Are they gunning for you? Are they coming after you with their cars?
Well, sometimes it seems like that, Dave Show.
I, of course, am used to that because in my neighborhood, there are no parking rules and no driving rules.
No driving rules.
And basically no rules whatsoever. Free cupcakes after Election Day in my neighborhood, though, so that's a nice thing. Anyways, long story, won't get into it now. Another local says young people's lives nowadays are fast, and they're always looking at their phones. This puts our minds at rest, those of us who are often looking at our phones, as it's a form of protection. I would think maybe a wall would be a good form of protection instead of just an extra lane of sort of buffer there.
I'm not thinking a smartphone is a good... If you're relying on your smartphone to protect you, I think you have other problems, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like just adding... It's like with bike lanes, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be safer for pedestrian traffic to have a separate bike lane, but now the bikes are next to the traffic, and at least, again, where I am, my neighborhood, maybe it's because there's no rules, I don't see people using the bike lanes nearly as often as they should be. A lot of times they're up on the...
Do you want to hear my pet peeve? I'm not as ticked off by people using their smartphone, but my pet peeve is when people are walking by me and they're walking to talk to their friends or whoever they're talking to. This happens a lot at some of the festivals in the Milwaukee area, but they're talking to their friends and they're walking backwards. They're trying to have a conversation with their friend, and so they're facing them, so they're walking backwards. And I don't know what causes that phenomenon, but...
Well, clearly having friends is the problem.
Right.
If they didn't have friends, they wouldn't have conversations, they wouldn't back into people.
Right.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Let's say at the end of this article, another says that smartphone users have become like blind people, and another user points out that fubbers using the lane may still risk bumping into each other.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that.
There needs to be bumper pads or whatever on the lane.
Ooh, there we go. Have lanes, he's put on a special suit, and then you take it off when you're ready to go into a building.
Yeah.
It would work. Be like those bubbler bikes, I guess.
Never heard of such a thing. A bubbler bike?
Bubbler bikes? Oh yeah, they're I don't know how they work exactly because I don't bike at all, but I think I don't know if you have to get an account or something, and then you go over and you swipe your card or you put money in the thing or whatever it is you do, and you get to take one of 10 or 12 or 15 bikes, and you get to borrow that and take it wherever you go.
If you've ever ridden a bubbler bike, let us know on the Greg and Dave Show Facebook page. That's Greg with 3 G's. GREGG and Dave Show.
Yes, indeed.
Is this something for real, or is this just something Dave Show has completely made up? Even though I believe it's true, yes. Dave Show.
For the record, they're bubbler bikes, not water fountain bikes, okay? So just straighten that up. Yeah.
Just straightening that up.
Don't want me to get all crazy on people here. Don't want to start that debate. Bubbler, water fountain.
Right. So... I like this segue, Dave Show, because we are moving on from
We are moving on to psychopaths here.
Psychopaths.
This is where...
Dave Show, have you ever been accused of being a psychopath?
I thought you were going to ask if I ever have been a psychopath, but... I don't know of anybody who's ever accused me of being a psychopath, but I suppose I wasn't listening long enough to have heard them call me a psychopath. No, I don't think I ever have, actually. So, how about you, Greg? Are you a psychopath?
I don't know. I really just want to know what psychopath means, because I don't know.
Well, it's in China. They're making a separate path for people who are psychos.
Oh.
And are too obsessed with their own minds. No, I'm kidding. That sounds like a good idea, like lanes of the sidewalk depending on your mood.
Right.
That seems good. I think Gallagher, the comedian Gallagher, had a similar idea for the freeway. He's like, if you're in the fast lane, you'd better have rock and roll. If you're in a slower lane, you're listening to Lawrence Welk, something like that. But, lane by music, basically.
Yes.
Anyways, our next story here comes from CNET.com, and it is titled MIT Researchers. So we're talking about smart people here.
Very smart people.
Yes, MIT researchers.
Smarter than Dave Show and I.
Easily.
Well, possibly.
Easily, yes. MIT researchers use Reddit. So, okay, we went from smart... Well, I'm not even into the story yet. We go from smart to, bottom of the barrel, I think.
To Reddit.
In about 2 words. MIT researchers use Reddit to create the first psychopath AI.
Just in case you're listening and you don't know what AI means, it stands for artificial intelligence.
Yes. And I guess going to Reddit is the right place for that. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. But It says, yes, this is the same institute that makes the creepy dog robots that can open doors, but everything is totally fine, we promise. They have a lovely picture here of a person with sort of a cybernetic part of his head called Norman. It says, meet Norman. He's not your everyday AI. His algorithms won't help filter through your Facebook feed or recommend you new songs to listen to on Spotify.
Darn it.
Nope. Norman is a psychopath AI created by researchers at the MIT Media Lab as a, quote, case study on the dangers of artificial intelligence gone wrong when biased data is used in machine learning algorithms. The researchers set Norman up to perform image captioning, a deep learning method that generates a textual description of an image, then plugged him into an unnamed subreddit known for its graphic imagery surrounding death. Are we sure we want to continue with this?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we do. I'm
All right.
I'm curious.
I think this is a good story to get through quickly before Mrs. Bale gets back in here.
Right.
I wonder where she is, but anyway.
Maybe Mrs. Bale's running a side job lemonade stand.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Maybe that's what she's doing.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to get her get a little extra money. Meet people.
Yeah.
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 I feel like she's trapped in the studio a lot. Anyway, so yes, we have Norman. They had Norman explain a range of Rorschach ink blots, comparing the answers from their psychopathic AI with that of your friendly neighborhood standard AI. Although Norman was originally unveiled on April 1st, that seems appropriate, those answers are no joke. They're highly disturbing. Whereas standard AI sees, quote, a group of birds sitting on top of a tree branch. Norman, our HAL 9000-esque death machine, sees, quote, a man electrocuted to death.
Really? That escalated quickly.
It really did. Oof. Where the standard AI sees a close-up of a wedding cake on a table, Norman, our malicious AI robo-killer, sees a man killed by a speeding driver. The researchers didn't create Norman's psychopathic tendencies. They just helped the AI on its way by only allowing it to see a particular subset of image captions. The way Norman describes the Rorschach ink blots with simple statements does make it seem like it's posting on a subreddit.
See, Reddit, subreddits, this is like a foreign language to me.
Yeah, you're not on the Reddit?
I'm not on the Reddit. Nope, not about that life.
Yep, I feel all I know about Reddit is it is a gigantic rabbit hole. It's like you start getting in there and you're not getting out. But why even create a psychopathic AI, the story asks. And I think that's a fair question.
Mm-hmm.
The research team aimed to highlight the dangers of feeding specific data into an algorithm and how that may bias or influence its behavior. That starts to make me wonder. Don't the MIT team at Boston Dynamics constantly push and poke and annoy their running, jumping, and door-opening robot creations? Are we doomed to be overrun by four-legged robo-hell beasts? Let's hope not.
That escalated quickly as well.
So, I'm glad I'm not going to go to bed anytime soon.
Yeah.
Grief. This reminds me of that thing they had. Somebody created like an artificial person on Twitter or something, and something went horribly wrong with it, and people started asking it horrible things, and it started spitting out like really racist answers. Do you remember anything about that?
I don't remember that. I can think of like different stories about Alexa and
Oh yeah,
Google, the Google Assistant, and if you tell it different things, it'll spit out some things that you may not want to hear.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. This is the thing with AI, man. It's like you can never quite get all the filters. Somebody's going to come up with new ways of coming up with new things. They're going to create new terms that are going to sound terrible, that kind of thing. I did find here Microsoft launches AI chatbot on Twitter, and it turns racist within hours. So that's people throw that on the Facebook page.
Oh.
But that was from a little over a year ago, I guess. And this is from finance.yahoo.com. So I won't read through that now. But yeah, I remember it was an experiment in conversational understanding, I guess. And it got bad quickly.
Instead of testing it on other artificial intelligence, you'd think they tested on other like psychopaths, wouldn't you? Just to see. I don't know.
I guess, I don't know if it would be difficult to say, hey, we're trying to make a robot that's completely psychopathic. Could we possibly have it interact with some of your craziest inmates?
Yeah.
I think it's a hard conversation to kind of win over.
Yeah. Well, hey, do you think we can find Mrs. Bale's lemonade stand?
We could try to.
Over the commercial break? Okay, let's do it. I'm hankering for a glass of lemonade.
Alrighty. Well then, Off to commercial we go.
Yes. Mrs. Bale, where's your... Oh, that's right.
We haven't gone to commercial yet because I don't know where the... I'm not at her desk.
Oh.
Hey, I got a stick here. I can. You know what? I'm just gonna mash the thing. I'm just gonna mash the board. This should go well. Long stick hitting board.
After these messages,
The Greg and Dave Show.
be right back.
If you like sports, you may like Ryan Pierce's show, Completely, say it with me, Dave Show, serious.
Yes, a fine show it is, too.
Yes, you should listen to it on Public House Media, right, Dave Show?
That's right, the Greg. Ryan Pierce's show, Completely Serious, is available at any time on Public House Media. I don't know why I went into that voice. I just felt like it. I guess it's because I like the way he says the show name. Completely Serious.
Yes,
That's fun.
yes.
It's almost as fun as the rest of the show.
Not mocking Ryan Pierce.
No,
of
we like
course.
his show. If you like our little show here, his is a little more formal interview style. I like it because it's not like standard interview style. He's got these little quirks about it, and you'll just have to listen to find out what we're talking about.
Right. So again, go to thephmedia.com to find out about Completely
Serious.
Serious. Right here on Public House Media.
I feel like I sounded a little bit too much like a twerp when I said it that time.
Big thanks, as always, to Incompetech.com. You've been hearing pieces from Kevin MacLeod, including Hard Boiled and Ghostpocalypse 4, Temptress. Both pieces of music you can download for free at Incompetech.com. Just be sure to give Kevin credit, because, well, he's cool, so why not?
And now, back to the Greg and Dave Show.
Nobody does it better.
Okay, and we're back.
Hey.
You are listening to the Greg and Dave Show on Public House Media. And you remember to like, subscribe, and share this broadcast wherever you're finding it. You can find us where all good podcasts are found, by the way. We don't know where you can find Mrs. Bale's Lemonade Stand because we still haven't found it over the commercial break. So,
Yeah.
You know.
Unfortunate.
If you know where the whereabouts of Mrs. Bale, you can let us know that on our Facebook page too.
You don't suppose she somehow artificially transferred her intelligence into the board, do you? Because I just grabbed a stick and whacked the board, and I magically hit the right button. No?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wouldn't put it past her.
Stranger things have happened.
That's true.
Speaking of which,
yeah, I don't know if we want lemonade with this next story or not.
No, I generally like lemonade with my tacos, but maybe not these kind of tacos.
Yeah, we have a story here from 1057thepoint.com, which is actually referring to a story from vice.com, for which this is... why are we ending on this one again?
I don't know.
Oh, I guess we didn't want to end on the killer AI or whatever that is.
No.
That could have been scary, too.
Give everyone nightmares.
Yeah, I think I said before, this is going to be a disturbing show. But this story reads, this guy...
Disclaimer, this podcast may be disturbing and harmful if...
Harmful if swallowed?
Yeah, harmful if swallowed.
Now we have an opening for the show. This story says, this guy served his friends tacos made from his own amputated leg.
Hello. Okay.
Yep.
You know, I'm on a diet right now, Dave Show, and my diet is because, my doctors have told me you need to reduce your gluten intake. So I found some of these gluten-free diets, and one example is if it lives, you can eat it. However, I'm not sure that would apply, or I'm not sure I'd want that to apply to this story.
Yeah, the fun thing for me looking at the first paragraph of this story is they have highlighted Reddit post. So I'm like, okay, good. We're delving into intelligence again here. They actually have a picture of some pieces of the leg, I guess, and the X-ray of his leg, which I don't think bone is supposed to look quite like this. where it's all like fractured and not together. So yeah. It says here, if you could taste human flesh in an ethical way, would you? It's the kind of question you ask after watching Silence of the Lambs, stoned. I can't say I've ever done that, so I can't verify that.
No. I
Yes.
haven't done either of those two things. I haven't watched the movie.
Haven't gotten baked, as they say. Well, I don't know if I want to say baked in relation to the story, but anyway.
Right.
No matter how you respond, you never expect anyone to hold you to your answer. But in a recent Reddit post, users shared a story of a motorcycle crash that put him face to face with the macabre hypothetical. When a car hit his bike and sent him careening into a nearby forest, his foot was shattered to the point that he would never walk on it again. When the doctor asked if he wanted to amputate, his one question was, "Can I keep it?" The doctor said yes. On Sunday, July 10th, 2016, 3 weeks after the accident, Shiny, who prefers to remain anonymous, except for the name Shiny, I guess, invited 10 of his most open-minded friends to a special brunch.
I like how they pointed out 10 of his most open-minded friends.
Yeah, Mrs. Bale, if you're really in the board right now through some mysterious spiritual or mystical means, could you put some creepy music in here? They ate apples. Okay, again, open-minded friends going to a special brunch. They ate apple strudel, quiche puff pastries, fruit tarts, and chocolate cake. I appreciate they used the Oxford comma there. Good job, guys. They drank gin lemonade punches and mimosas. And then the main course came out. Fajita tacos made from Shiny's severed human limb.
This is recycling at its finest right here.
That's an excellent point. I hadn't thought of that. But yes, this is not being wasteful of it's not a perfectly good limb, I guess. It's actually kind of useless. But nonetheless, the United States doesn't have a federal law banning cannibalism. I find that hard to believe. Idaho is the only state in which the simple act of eating human flesh can land you in prison. So that's why there are no zombies in Idaho.
Yes.
Yes. Laws against murder, buying and selling human meat, and corpse desecration make cannibalism difficult. I'm going to pause and take that sentence in for a second. Okay. Laws against...
there was a group back in the day called the Fine Young Cannibals.
They drove me crazy. And if we had money, we could have played the song right there, but well. Yes. Laws against murder, buying, selling human meat, corpse desecration make cannibalism difficult, but technically legal in the other 49 states. It's rare someone able to consent to being eaten meets someone interested in eating them. No kidding. But even that scenario raises a ton of ethical questions. A Belgian man named Detlef Gunzel was sentenced to 8.5 years in prison for butchering and eating a Polish businessman with his consent. I guess this is begging the question for me. I mean, basically, if I can agree to let you, let's say, eat some part of me, I'm thinking, maybe if I had a tail that I could cut off and I knew it was going to grow back, maybe I would consider it then. If I had a tail and I said, "The Greg, would you like to eat my tail? We'll cook it up real nice." Do you think you'd have any interest in that?
No.
Good.
2 words, no.
I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Yeah. Though, I do recall conversations with my family about back in the day. Not my family. I'm sure this wasn't a once-nighter thing, but back in the day, people used to eat cannibal sandwiches.
Cannibal sandwiches made out of real cannibals?
I don't know.
Shinies.
That's another question for our Facebook audience.
Yes. Shinies is the rare case where cannibalism was not only legal, but ethical. He documented the entire process, but due to the graphic nature of the photos, we have omitted several from this post, and they have a link in case people want to check it out. We asked the 38-year-old why he decided to feed himself to his friends, what he tasted like, and how the experience changed him. And they have here a full interview with the person, which again we'll put up on the Facebook page at facebook.com/GregDaveShow. We can probably wrap the story there, I'm thinking, because that's
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yep.
I'm just skimming through the rest of the interview here, although it just, I guess, because I feel like I have to add one more thing. They have the question here, how did you convince 10 friends to eat the foot with you? And he says, I invited 11 people, said something like, remember how we always talk about how if we ever had the chance to ethically eat human meat, would you do it? Well, I'm calling you on that. I have never had this conversation with anybody. Well, except for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Technically we have. At the end of the show yet?
I don't know, my phone's ringing like crazy. We're talking about people eating human flesh. Just remember, folks, if it lives, you can eat it.
I'm going to say my apologies for listening to the Greg and Dave show
Thanks
this
for
week.
listening to the Greg and Dave show. Tune in next week.
Yeah, more next week, though. We'll be here again.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
You don't suppose this is why Mrs. Bale is out of the room for the whole show, do you?
I don't know. You know, I'm starting to get worried.
All right. Well, the music started up, so I guess we're okay. How is she doing?
You've been listening to The Greg and Dave Show. The Greg and Dave Show theme is Take a Chance by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com.